Hey guys, WildHeart here, and today we'll do patch 14.10 rundown. What does it mean? Well, to put it simple, that means that Split 2 has started, and we have many things to learn, as this patch brings us few new mechanics, I believe couple of new items, so let's check how we can exploit them to get better at the game. Player profile update. We're moving player profiles inside of the social panel in order to consolidate client navigation. We need more space. You can still customize your identity by going into profile and clicking on the banner there. Cool. Legends of Runeterra comes to leak. What? You can now easily access the award-winning card game Legends of Runeterra. For some reason, I even forgotten that it wasn't in Riot Client. For some reason I thought it was inside Riot Client alongside with TFT at Valorant. But yeah, I mean, that's cool. That's cool. Legends of Runeterra is a fairly decent game. I love it. I'm not playing it myself, but yeah. Champion Master Update. It's whatever, but for those who care, Master looks ugly now. So yeah, I mean, in my point of view, it looks ugly. Maybe you might enjoy it, but in my point of view it looks ugly, so it's not that big of a deal to try hard for level 7 anymore, because there is basically no cap anymore. You cannot get all the champions at max level anymore, because that's how it looks now, and well, your champion can be any level basically now. Ranked, that's one of important ones. Player will Player will be able to place as high as Diamond 3 after provisional games. Alright, so if your MMR is high, you can get up to Diamond 3. Wait, probably it's not even with high MMR. In theory, yeah, probably you can get it with one game if your MMR is like decent. Yeah, probably. So after finisher placements, you will be like, what, like Diamond 1? Or in theory, you can even be Master. That's interesting. Demotion protection between divisions will be removed. That's great. That's great. That's actually a very good way how to fight ranks inflation and how to fight terrible MMR, terrible OP gains. That's a very good thing. Demoting from tiers will place players at 25, 50, 75, depending on the player's MMR at the time of demotion compared to the rank. That's great. That's actually very good. Master Duo will be enabled in most regions and will stop again, and Grandmaster excluding CN, China and Korea. Cool. But wait, so you cannot do in China and Korea. That's weird. Why though? I'm not sure. Split start. Apex Duo MMR restriction disable reminder. Similar to previous splits and years, for the first 2 weeks of a new ranked split, Apex Duo MMR restriction will be temporarily disabled, but the visual earned rank Duo restriction remains following the update Duo rule listed above. The Apex Duo MMR restriction will be turned back on in 14.11. Yikes, that's actually very annoying, because I mean, earlier it was annoying to play in Master Tier. Even at high Master Tier you could get to play with these Apex MMR guys. Now, since you can do in Master, technically you can fight it equally. Technically, I believe. Yeah, should be fine, I think. System changes. We are modifying gold and experience income with the hope of closing some durability disparities across several roles. Bot laners and jungles tend to be 1-2 levels behind solars in the mid game before catching up late game due to champion kill experience. We're bringing up their mid game level by tweaking duo XP and early monster XP, then to keep them from shooting ahead of solo laners. As junglers and bot laners participate in more late game kills than other roles, we're bringing down late game assisted kill XP. We're also making some adjustments to gold income. As mentioned before, junglers and bot laners tend to shoot ahead in the late game through champion combat, and we're giving them more experience to fight with. So we're lowering a little bit of PvP gold income. Right, let's see the numbers. So if you're together with someone, you get more XP. Jungle monster experience is buffed slightly, just slightly, not much. Same for Scuttle Grab. But shared champion kill XP. Let's see. Alright, level 1 6 is the same. Level 7 it's the same. So at level 9 it gets lower. It gets lowered. But technically that's a nerf only only for the roles. For the roles who've been getting more XP early on, like top and mid lane, if I'm getting it right, because if it works this way as they introduce it, then you get exactly the same amount of XP that you've been getting before till level 9, and after level 9 it's nerfed by 10%. But I mean, for support and jungler, by the time you hit level 9 the game is somewhat settled for the most part, so it's kind of whatever. Gold wise, 2 plus kill streak gold. Lowered, slightly lowered. And when it tops up, it's the same. Alright, CS bounty. 50 gold at 300 extra CS gold, plus 50 per additional 200. Now it's 50 gold at 300 extra CS gold, plus 50 per additional 250. So now it takes a little longer to get the bounty on you. 1 plus death streak gold. Ooh, that's very strong nerf. I mean, in a way, it's a nerf. For some situations, if this guy who's injured is on your team, it's a buff. In fact, so basically, in a regular game, you would be getting 120 gold. If the guy dies for the 5th time, now you will be getting like 100. Yeah, so it's pretty much minus 10 to 20 gold. Minus 10 to 20 gold at each level. Minus 10 to 20 gold. At force death it's minus 27 though. It's kind of brutal, not gonna lie. So it totals up to like 100 if you combine all 5 kills, all 5 deaths of the guy, but yeah, it totals up to like 100. Interesting. That's very interesting. That's something that that it's always worth to put attention when you're reading the patch notes, so you probably can mind your strategy better. Champions. Let's see what we have with Corki. He's getting some massive patch. Holy moly, so many changes there. Alright, base HP plus 30, health growth is reduced by 3, whatever, base armor plus 2, interesting. Armor growth minus 0.2, base attack minus 6, attack speed is increased, mana growth is increased. Acquisition range, this is the range at which Corki acquires targets when attack moving past them. Alright, retimed Corki's basic attack to launch the attack at a more appropriate frame of his attack animation. Basic attacks come out slightly more slowly. Passive Hextech munitions. Was 20% physical, 80% magic. Wait, what? Now it's pure physical damage and 15... What? It on... Wait, so Corki... Wait, so Corki doesn't do magic damage at all with it now? And package is removed. Nah, but it kinda... It actually completely changes the champion. Sucks. 15% is true. 15% is true. That sounds like a crazy strong buff to the passive though. package is removed though, it sucks. Because it was like one of the key things why you want to pick Corki. To contest objectives with it, but now it's a completely different champion in terms of his power spikes. It's a completely different story now. Alright, let's see. Phosphorus Bomb. Flat damage is reduced by 25, but scaling is increased by 50%. Holy shit. Cooldown is reduced by 1 second. Whatever. I mean, by 1 second. When spell's level is level 5, but you normally max Q, so it's simply spell cooldown reduction. Mana cost is reduced as well. Missile speed is increased, so it will reach the target faster. Retime the animation to fire at a more appropriate point of the animation. 0.25 seconds. Cast time unchanged. Alright, Valkyrie mana cost is increased. Now more consistently deals damage. Deals all its damage ticks. This is usually 10% more damage if your target was in the zone the whole time. Damage over time now lingers for 1 second after leaving the zone. Can no longer deal more than the maximum damage if a target runs alongside Valkyrie's damage zone. Particle effects have been scaled up to match the damage radius. Damage particles have been made less spammy. Okay. Corki's E. So Corki does physical damage for the most part now, right? Yeah, it seems like he does physical damage for the most part now. Quite a solid damage reduction though. But with such a huge buff on his Q, probably that makes sense, because it sounds like he would be broken. I'm assuming he would probably be still broken regardless. Cooldown reduction by 4 seconds, it's fucking nuts. Armor shred is increased as well. Time to reach max shred. 8 hits, now 4 hits, 1 second. That's correct, man. That's so strong. God bless, they at least increased his mana cost, but that sounds super strong. Corki should be broken, basically. Corki's ultimate. Missile barrage. Flat damage is increased. What the fuck are those numbers? Alright, so AD scaling is 70% at all levels. AP ratio removed. So at late game that will be a nerf, but early mid game is fucking nuts. He's very strong. Max ammo is only 4 now, so you need to be more mindful in terms of using your ulti now. Recharge rate is actually doomed. 20 seconds is massive, but it kind of makes sense considering the fact how strong are those missiles. That makes sense. Basic attacks on hit against champions reduce the recharge rate time of missile barrage by 2-4 seconds based on critical strike chance. So they do kind of the same thing as Ezreal. As Ezreal reduces cooldown on his ulti with Q, I believe it's kind of the same, or on his E. Leveling the ability for the first time grants 2 ammo. Interesting. That is set of some interesting changes for Corki. It looks very competitive, not gonna lie. Cho'Gath. E damage cap against monsters raised to a flat value. Damage cap against minions removed. So alright, so you can do whatever damage to minions, to monsters, 200 with E. But 200 is still quite some damage. 200, considering how strong are Whirlpool spikes, 200 is quite some damage. Cho'Gath jungle isn't doing too great. No shit, man. Like, the champion is not designed to be jungle. He's designed to be like a solo laner, no? I feel like in Split 1, Cho'Gath had more options to be an ADC than to be a jungler, in a way. Santa. Base health regeneration growth is increased. Health growth is increased. I have completely no idea why they do that, considering how strong Santa was in the last patch. Like, literally no clue. and buff on E. Like seriously, these buffs aren't super important. Luckily, they aren't super great. But at the same time, Santa weren't really doing any poorly. He was quite a strong champion, so I don't really see a reason why would you want to buff him. He's already quite strong. Set E deals bonus damage to monsters. Now has a 100 flat damage mod to monsters. Whatever, like literally whatever. I don't think Set has any potential to be a jungler at his potential state. Maybe I'm wrong. Skarner, the god. Let's see what he has now. Flat damage is the same. HP scaling is reduced by 1%. Mana cost is reduced. Kind of makes sense if you want to reduce the damage. Damage to structures is increased though. Max HP monster cap. It still sounds quite solid, not gonna lie. It still sounds quite solid. Skarner's E. HP scaling is reduced as well. Yeah, he probably has too much HP, so his scaling are probably too strong because of that. Impale. Cast time is reduced. Skarner's is no longer unstoppable while winding up Impale. That's a very solid nerf. That's a very strong nerf. Skarner can now Q his other skills while winding up Impale. QE still cannot be cast while impaling an enemy champion. Fixed a bug where Mark Dash could be recast during Impale. Dreamer. Passive critical strike chance cap increased. Fury bonus critical strike chance 0 to 40. Now it's 0 to 50. I mean, it kind of makes sense considering the fact that they reworked the crit system. Sorry for spoilers. I think that kind of makes sense. And at the same time, considering how little tempo was changed recently, that also makes sense. Like, Tryndamere needs some buffs. That's for sure. Viego. Healing from minions increased. That's a buff targeting Viego for top lane, that's for sure. Not sure what was the idea behind it, aside from just strictly buffed Viego for laning phase. I personally don't really like it, but some people might love it. Considering what I already went through, it feels like Riot just trying to add some extra variety for those champions who are usually used for like one lane exclusively, to make them being played for other lanes. So in case with Viego it can be top mid now, and in case with Cho'Gath it can be jungle. Yasuo. Critical strike chance multiplier is reduced to 2. Bonus AD for excess critical strike chance is increased to 50%. I mean, it makes sense. It still makes sense. It works the same way as the thing with Tryndamere. Yeah, it's the same thing as with Tryndamere. Alright, let's move on. Corrupting Potion, removed from the game. Cool, interesting. Corrupting Potion has somewhat been forgotten for a while. We don't like when it's strong and dominates other early game item choices, so we've decided to remove it from game for now. Fantastic solution. Downcore, heal and shield power 16%. Build pass has been changed. Price is the same. Ability power plus 20. Base mana regeneration reduced. First light 3% heal and shielding and 5% AP. Oh wait, just 5 AP per 100 base mana regeneration. Now it's 2 and 10 AP. So AP is increased. Heal and shielding power is reduced. Summoner spell haste removed. Ability haste removed. So we just have heal and shielding power. Frankly speaking, sounds like a dogshit item. That sounds like a completely dogshit item. Waste of gold. Yeah, I don't like it. Just too expensive considering what it gives you, and just too weak. Echoes of Helia. Max stacks now 2 instead of 3. Interesting. Damage per stack. So they increase. They increase damage per stack, increase healing per stack, but reduce the amount of stacks itself. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that. Hasn't found its footing in the post-mythic world, so we're making the item more user-friendly and more powerful, since it can be tough for support to land multiple hits on an enemy. We're lowering the required hits between shields and heals for full effect and juicing up the per cast impact. For those who were reliably getting 3 hits in between shields, this won't be a huge buff, but for anyone who had a hard time always casting in full stacks, these changes will be a significant improvement. It still looks kinda weak, not gonna lie. It still looks kinda weak. Shurelia. Move speed is reduced, ability power is reduced. That's clearly a nerf targeting solo laners. They don't really care about supports, but they want to nerf it for solo laners, and that makes sense. I totally agree with that. Alright, Anathema, rest in peace. Let's talk about pure health items, which have generally been quite ignored by players. That's true. Sometimes they just don't provide enough stats to be competitive, but other times there's just no need for more health because other items already provide a ton. We're hoping to fix up both of those areas by retuning poor health items and resist items in order to carve out space for this one. That said, we thought long and hard about Anathemas and came to conclusion that a version of Anathema that was strong and prevalent would be quite bad for the game. Snowballing should be good and players should be rewarded for this success, while strong defense, armor, health, Zonias, Powerless, etc. are good, and items that specifically disempowers targeted player and makes them weaker in all cases wasn't something we wanted to keep around. Okay. Alright. You will be missed, Queen. Vermox. Straight up buffed. Just straight up buffed. Health per 5 seconds. I'm not sure about that. I mean, yeah, it kinda regions up a lot of HP quite quickly, but I'm not really sure about that. At the same time, it's kinda cool for Soraka though. So you can get like Warmogs, some small piece of shit for like 400 gold, and you already have Warmogs, so you can heal like infinitely. I don't really like it for anyone but Soraka actually. For Soraka it sounds kinda crazy good. Because you don't need to look for workarounds now. You can just strictly rush Warmogs and just be super tanky, non-one-shotable, and at the same time heal a lot. Sounds quite solid for Soraka, not gonna lie. Fimbulwinter, plus 150 HP, passive 8% mana as bonus HP converted to bonus percent mana as bonus HP. Max mana instead of max mana, bonus mana. Question is how much mana you will have, because if we speak about the game when it will be just Fimbulwinter, it sounds kinda bad. But if you will combine it with something like Frozen Heart or Road of Ages, or yeah, pretty much with these two options, that sounds quite good. I'm kinda scared that it sounds like an item designed specifically for Rise, but let's see. Winter's approach is kinda the same, pretty much. Only changes passive. Alright. Bami's Cinder. Price is reduced by 100, health is reduced by 100 as well. Plus 5 ability haste. 5 ability haste for 100 sounds quite expensive. It sounds quite expensive. But overall, the fact that you can get it cheaper for tank champions can be a massive buff. You don't really care about 5 ability haste, you don't really care about HP, but you care about the passive that helps you to push the lane faster. Therefore, if you're a tank player, you might love the change, that's for sure. Hollow Radiance. Health is reduced, ability haste is increased by... Yeah, wait, it's not increased, it's added. Boom. Price is not changed, only... Yeah, you only trade 150 HP for 10 ability haste. Kinda whatever, considering what item is doing. You're pretty much getting it for passive sake. Same thing with Sunfire. Yeah, it's all the same with all these bummy oriented items. Randuins. Health is reduced by 50. Armor is massively increased though, plus 20 units. That's crazy. Humility cooldown plus 90 seconds. Now it takes like 1 minute 30 seconds. That's quite long. But slow is increased as well. Rock Solid is removed. That sucks. That sucks. I mean, Rock Solid was the main reason why you've been buying Randuin instead of Frozen Heart. Like, why would you prioritize Randuin that is more expensive over Frozen Heart if now you don't have crit reduction? Like, the main reason of Randuin Summon being picked over Frozen Heart in certain situations was to counter crit users. Now, if you don't have Rock Solid, why would you prioritize expensive Randuins over Frozen Heart, like ever? Unending Despair. Anguish trigger rate 7 seconds to 5 seconds. That can be strong. That can be strong. I mean, yeah, that actually is strong. I can see it being picked by Zac or maybe Mundo. By Zac for sure. That's interesting. Abyssal Mask. Let's see. Even cheaper. Magic resistance is reduced though. That makes sense because 60 magic resistance is just too much. It's just too much. Unmake. Minus 8.6 to 25 magic resist based on bonus HP. Wait, now just strictly minus 20% magic resistance. So it's kinda cool. It's kinda cool considering the fact that you can get it on a tank champion, and you can kind of steer your team who does magic damage for the most part. They also buff the Unmake radius. That's cool. Unmake magic resist 9 per enemy, 10 per enemy. Wait, unique with void stuff and I got it. You cannot get both of them altogether. That makes sense because it would be just complete waste of gold. Night's Woe. But actually, before we go to Night's Woe, I can see it being picked by champions like Alistar or maybe Leona or maybe Rel. But honestly, I cannot see this item be picked by champions like Braum, aside from the fact that it's fairly cheap. Considering how cheap it is, I believe some players will be picking this item just for the sake of its price, not for the sake of its efficiency. And that's important to understand as well. Night's Woe. Base health region added, armor is reduced by 5 units, damage reduction was 10 and then 20% below 30% max HP, 12% always. That's cool. That's actually cool because that's a much more strict expectation from the item. Like, you don't want the item to be that not like that flexible, but that random in a way. 20% damage reduction when the target is below 30% max HP is absolutely cool, but I would rather prefer to have the item more predictable, if we can put it like that. Damage are reduced by the Knight's Armor and Mar. Alright, makes sense. Ziggs. cost unchanged, health increased by 100, armor is reduced by 5. Magic resistance is added, 25 magic resistance now. Ability haste, reduced from 20 to 10. But it's kinda good all around, holy shit. Wait. Mana is removed, and it's literally whatever for absolutely any champion aside of Blitzcrank. It's whatever, like no one will care aside of Blitzcrank about that. It's so cheap. It costs 2300 and gives 300 HP, 25 armor, 25 magic resistance, 10 ability haste. It's such a great all-arounder against balanced comps, it's crazy. It's actually crazy how good this item is now. That's kinda broken, not gonna lie. This item is broken. Should be a must build for champions like Leona or pretty much anyone who tanks at least the slightest damage. Like I would say for all non-enchanter support, it's a good choice. And non-mages, obviously. Mage items. Banshee. Banshee. What do we have there? Cost unchanged. Build pass is changed, but cost isn't changed. It's cool. It's cool that the item is the same. Blackfire Torch. I don't want to go over that. I'll just put it that way, that it's the same thing as all the Leandry was. It's the same thing that all Leandry was. However, it's kind of more, I would say, scale in a fight item, something like that. So basically that's the only thing that you need to pay attention to when reading about this item. For each enemy champion, epic monster and large monster affected by your Baleful Blaze, gain 4% CP. So if you're fighting a full-scale teamfight with Brand or Zyra and building this item, this should increase your AP all the way up to 16 or 20% CP. If I got it right. But I think I got it right. And if it's the case, that's very powerful. That's indeed very powerful, considering how affordable this item. It's not too expensive considering how broken the item is, I would say. Fated Ashes. Let's see. Build pass Amp Tome. Plus 500 gold, 40 AP. Dealing damage with ability causes enemies to burn for 7 magic damage per second for 3 seconds. Deal 20 bonus damage per second to monsters. That's the same thing as Hextech Alternator for DPS champions. That's literally... yeah. So, if your mage is not bursting, but you do more DPS damage, that's a better choice now. Luden's Companion. No longer charge model, unique load is removed. Now has a 12 seconds cooldown and always fires with 6 shots. Fire-based damage 45 plus 4 AP. So it's strictly buffed. Repeat damage ratio on primary target. Yeah, it's strictly buffed. It's just stronger. And it's a fairly strong buff for champions like Talia, Zera, Ziggs, I believe. Leandry. As a mana item option, the new epic item Fated Ashes is swapped in as a component. Makes sense. Build pass Hunting Geese, Blessing Wound, 850 gold Hunting Geese, Fated Ashes. Man, this is just a must build for Zyra Brand with this Blackfire Torch or WildHeart. That's all the same. That's the same thing that we had 2 seasons ago. But under different souls, like. But overall, it's the same thing. We're comfortable with the power of Earn Barrier, but wanted to become a more accessible pick up to counter mage and spell damage. I mean, probably yeah. It makes sense against AP assassins like LeBlanc, but fairly you don't really play against AP assassins at all. Like, okay, Akali is picked sometimes. Rest, I don't even know one to call, because LeBlanc, no one plays LeBlanc. If they play LeBlanc, in last season they've been playing AD LeBlanc for the most part. So kinda weird to me. Fighter items. Overlord's Blood Mail. Holy shit, it's so expensive. 40 AD, 500 health. Tyranny. Gain 2% of your bonus health as attack damage. Atma Impaler. For those who've been playing since season 1, my trick on the old item, Atma's Impaler. This is Atma's Impaler, that's for sure. Retribution. Gain up to 10% increased attack damage based on your percent missing health. Maximum retribution bonus while below 30% health. Holy shit. Man, this is a must for set. This is a must for Mundo. These are two first champions who come to my mind. This is definitely not an item for champions like Camille or Jax, I believe. I don't feel like they might love it. But champions like Seth who have huge amount of HP, like huge HP pool, just for the sake of tanking, I feel like this is a good item. Should be good, but price is also quite high. It's not like a cheap item. 300 gold. That's clearly not a first item as well. You want to get it like... Yeah, they say in the description 3rd-ish item slot, maybe 4th item slot, something like that, but not early. But overall item is good, yeah. Clearly for late game, that's a very strong option. Botruk, AD is increased by 15, attack speed is increased by 5, lifesteal increased by 2, holy moly, everything is buffed. Melee... Alright, passive is just nerfed, luckily. Passive is nerfed for both melee and the ranged users. Passive, Cloud and Shadows. Your next basic attack on hit against enemy champion is empowered and slows them by 30%, 15 for ranged. Okay, every third basic attack on hit against enemy champion is empowered and slow them by 30%. 15 seconds cooldown. Interesting way to balance it. A really interesting way to balance it. I mean, to me it looks like straight up above, because plus 15 AD, plus 5 attack speed, plus 2 life steal. Yes, you lose some damage on passive. Yes, it'll be harder to activate the other passive, but at the same time you're getting so many stats in exchange. That's a decent reimbursement for losing these stats. That's kinda decent. Black Cleaver. Armor reduction is increased by 1%. Max armor reduction therefore is increased to 30%. I mean, champions like Riven must love it, but overall that's not a big deal. Shouldn't be a game changer, at least as I can see it. Plated steel caps. Tabais are cheaper now. Basic attack reduction. That's cool. That's actually very good nerf, because Tabais were fairly overpowered. However, they are going to be more accessible now, so it's only 1k. It still gives damage attack reduction. It still gives you armor, so that's still not a bad buy. I personally see it as a nerf, because basic attack reduction by 12% probably was too much. But at the same time, they will still be one of the most popular options for top lane, that's for sure, for jungle probably, and sometimes for support, especially against AD comps. Boots of Mobility, rest in peace. Rest in peace. Sucks. Yeah, but yeah, they weren't any popular recently, so I saw it coming. New boots. This is a new boot meant to slightly replace Boots of Mobility as a temporary purchase. It's meant to help get back on the map faster and quickly get out of bad situations while requiring an appropriate amount of time before granting its roam and focus movement speed. Move speed 35. Your recall is empowered, so you recall faster, I believe. After traveling 150k units, upgrades to synchronized souls. Your recoil is empowered as well. Gain 45 movement speed when out of combat. So you'll have like 90 movement speed total out of combat. I can see it being a thing for some roaming champs, that's for sure, but I'm not sure how prioritized they will be. On the bright side, they're fairly cheap, only 900 gold. That's why I expect them to be somewhat popular, but we'll probably need some time before they become somewhat meta. Probably. I'm not sure how long it's supposed to be 150k units, but sounds like too long. I'm not sure what exactly it stands for. Marksman units. Alright, as we discussed earlier, crit chance is removed on BT. That's like the only item as far as I remember. Yeah, that's the only crit item that has no crit anymore. AD. What's important? Total cost unchanged. AD plus 25 now. No longer grants extra AD above 70% health. However, it gives you shield once again. It again gives you shield, and that's something you want to pick it. So probably BT is considered to be a late game item when you already have your crit stacked, but you need to survive in a team fight somehow. So it's still a cool item because 80 AD is a fucking lot. That's wow, that's so much. But at the same time, you don't have any crit. But why would you need a crit if you have 100% crit chance with other items? That's a good question. Collector. Price is increased by 100, plus 5 AD, lethality is reduced by 1, plus 5 crit. Kinda just changed item. They kinda just changed the item. Minus 1 lethality. For 100 gold you get plus 5 AD plus 5 crit chance. That's a very good trade. That's a very strict buff, to put it simple. Minus 1 AD, it is what it is, but consider the fact how they reimburse it, that's very cool. No longer Spellblade item Master's Reaver. Alright, but the cost is so high. It's 3200. Basic attacks refund 15 mana on hit. Critical strike chance 25. Ability haste 25. Attack damage 65. Who the fuck going to build Essence Reaver now? I have no clue. Probably some champions like Draven. But I mean, Ezreal is not going to build it because it's no longer a Spellblade item. Right? Right. So maybe Lucian. Maybe Lucian. Where do we get Spellblade then? Let's see. Shield Bow. Cost unchanged, crit 25, AD 55, lifesteal, no lifesteal. Still gives a shield, so still will be a popular item from time to time. IE. Cost is increased to 3400, super expensive by the way, but gives 80 AD now. 80 AD, 25 crit. So it's super expensive, but gives you a whole lot of stats. Like, it's super crazy amount of stats for 3400, so we get it. Kraken 3100, crit chance removed, move speed is increased. So wait, not increased, it's added. 7 movement speed. AD plus 10, attack speed plus 5%. Bring it down every third attack. So every third attack now deals additional physical damage on hit, increasing when hitting lower health target. That's the main change. That's the main change we should pay attention to. Because earlier, it was dealing the same damage, pretty much. Now, it's increasing when hitting lower health targets. So probably that's a must for champions like Jinx. Yeah, I feel like for Jinx, that's a must. That's for sure, because the item sounds just too great not to take it. LDR, 40% armor penetration. Holy shit, 20... Yikes. No longer deals increased damage based on target's max health advantage. God bless. So, they kill the Giant Slayer passive, but add extra armor pen. That makes sense. The item is still great, clearly, because we always want armor penetration. We always want critical strike chance on those ADCs, so the item is still great. Scimitar. Total gold cost is increased by 300. Critical strike chance removed. Lifesteal is added. I mean, 10% crit, 10% life steal, but no crit. I'm not sure about that. Skimitar sounds kind of oppressive. Too expensive. Like 3.3k gold. Yes, it gives lifesteal, but no crit now. Sounds like dog shit to me, honestly. Just too expensive. Yes, it's a QSS item, but you know, as a final item, as 6th item, you wanna go it. You wanna go for it. You wanna build it. Unless it's the last item, it's a final item. You never want to buy such an expensive item. That's for sure. Mortal Reminder is readjusted to new crit system, 25%. That's expected. That's something that we could expect. Navori Flicker Blade, Navori Quick Blades. Navori is getting a new name and new icon. Still provide one of its chronic cooldown reduction mechanics, but now will live as an attack speed item, typically paired with a big ticket AD item. Very cheap, very cheap. 2600. Has 25% crit, cooldown reduction, refund 15%, the movement speed, 7 movement speed, attack speed 40. But no AD, it was given 65 AD, now no AD. It's clearly a nerf for Tristana. That's clearly a nerf for Tristana, that's something I can tell for sure, because no AD. So she cannot burst with it now. As she was bursting in couple of last seasons with infamous Kraken Navori combo. But some champions might really benefit from it. The question is who? Who needs crit and movement speed at the same time? And cooldown reduction? Probably Jean, but Jean doesn't really need attack speed. Not sure. Actually, Kog'Maw. Maybe Kog'Maw. But Kog'Maw doesn't need crit. I don't think I'm ready to answer for this one as of now. Need to see it in game. Noonquiver. Now it gives 20% crit chance. Yeah, rest in peace, last hitting. Alright, I mean, now you need to be more precise with last hitting. It is what it is. PD. Price is reduced to 2600, move speed is increased to 12%. Critical strike chance is increased to 25. Attack speed is increased to 60%. No AD, but attack speed is super high. A huge buff for all the attack speed scale and ADC, so for Kog'Maw, that's massive. For Kog'Maw, that's massive, that's for sure. But once again, the question is, do we really want to crit with Kog'Maw? I remember in all seasons, critting Kog'Maw was a thing. I'm not sure if it's a thing now. Rapid Fire Cannon. Total price 2600, critical strike chance 25%, AD is removed, attack speed 20 to 35%. Yes, I can see they kind of want to remove, like, they want to give more crit strike chance for all the items, for the majority of the items, but at the same time, they remove AD from the majority of the items, so you will need to find this AD elsewhere. That's an issue. I feel like that's a nerf to TF, kinda. That's kinda nerf to TF because TF was always building Rapid Fire Cannon, even in AP build. But at the same time, if you're playing an ADTF, that's kinda alright because now, as far as I remember, your W scales of crit chance as well, so that's not that big of a deal. Runans. On hit magic damage removed. Interesting. Bolt 80 damage scaling. So, more scaling of AD, alright. Critical strike chance. And it's cheaper. Okay. Static shift. Another round of balance for static shift. Critical strike chance removed. Attack speed increased to 40%. Electro spark. Killing non-champions fires chain lightning that deals 90 magic damage, hitting up to 6 additional targets. So you need to last hit someone, actually. 3 seconds cooldown, 500 bones range. 500 bounce range. 3 seconds cooldown. Only 90 damage though. Only 90 damage. Takedowns on champions instead deals 3x damage and has no cooldown, no bounce cap. Technically 186 if you want to know, and 650 bounce range. 3 damage, so 300 basically. So I mean 300 damage, that's 270 magic damage. 270 is not bad. 270 in theory sounds very strong for early game, especially as long as the Riot didn't add any level scaling. So if you rush it, if you have it around level 8, level 9, for champs like Seaver it can be strong. The only question is, how good is it for you, considering the fact that it doesn't grant you any critical strike chance? And champs like Seaver, they need critical strike chance. That's another question. Once again, it sounds quite cool for Kog'Maw. Once, like, if your champion doesn't need a crit strike chance, that can be a good option. Stormrazor, rest in peace. Rest in peace. Yeah, I mean, this item was balanced in so many different ways way too often, and it didn't find a good place to balance. Like, it was always either too popular and being broken or being never picked by anyone. Terminus is getting a new recipe this time around as well as some small alteration in stats. Attack damage is reduced by 5, attack speed is increased by 5. Total cost and change. So the item is just adjusted. Cannot say that it's buffed or nerfed, it's just adjusted. Voltaic Cyclosword. I expected this item to be super popular when it was just started, but it turned out to be dog shit. Let's see if it will be popular in this season. Build pass is changed, so there is no Q-Chase Shard. God bless. I mean, build pass is nice. Build pass is nice for assassins. Yuntal Wild Arrows. And new item. Interesting. Pickaxe Noon Quiver. 3200 gold cost. Top line. Critical strike deals 35% total AD additional physical damage over 2 seconds. This sounds broken. This item genuinely sounds broken. Too much AD, 65 AD. At the same time, passive sounds just broken. Just straight up broken. I'm not sure how this went to life. It sounds disgusting broken. Like, how are you going to tank it actually? Like, you'll all just get one-shotted, no? Zephyr. Build pass. Attack speed boots. Plus 2k. Upgrade from Berserker Greaves that becomes available after you reach level 15 still counts as boots. That's very interesting. Decent amount of movement speed, very decent amount of attack speed. Passive gain 5 movement speed for 6 seconds, stacking up to 15%. Yeah, but how do you get this passive? Does it just passively work or what? Without cooldown? Or like, what's the idea? But sounds quite strong for late game clearly, as last item. That makes sense. Hardbound text, let's see. 1300 gold, plus 5 AD, minus attack speed. Okay. Damage type on hit, magical, physical. So the majority of spells and items that originally were doing magical damage, now they do physical damage in order to make mages more privileged in a way, more popular. Probably that's the idea. Scout Slingshot. Scout Slingshot is coming as a new attack speed component to help bridge some of the new recipes that don't involve critical strike chance. Attack speed 20%. Damaging the champion deals an additional 40 magic damage. Attacks reduce this cooldown by 1 second. Alright. And what's the cooldown though? I wonder what's the cooldown. Because 40 additional magic damage in early game would be a very competitive item. Zeal. 15 to 20. Now it's 20. I already saw some Zeri players building like one item into 3 Zeals, and they've been very successful with it. So this Zeal change is going to be notable, that's for sure. Dagger is slightly nerfed. I mean, considering how many items are providing you with attack speed now, I don't think you might notice any difference, to be honest. Summoner spells. Ghost cooldown is now 4 minutes, duration 15 to 10 seconds. That's a holy fuck, holy shit, how strong this nerf is. I mean, it makes sense considering how broken Ghost was for quite some time, but 4 minutes and into 10 seconds, that's... yeah, like, Riot put it straight, like, we don't want you to play Ghost, play something else. Cleanse, cooldown is increased as well. I really love Cleanse nerf as well. Actually, Cleanse nerf is a good idea, because this summoner spell is a very strong one, and the cooldown of 210 seconds was kinda odd to have in build QSS, you know, like it's not QSS exactly, but you don't want to have CC, you don't want to have an enemy who can remove your CC that frequent, so you will have more time to play around it. That's a good thing, that's for sure. Exhaust. Cooldown is increased as well, slow. Okay, so they nerf everything. Duration, barrier. Alright, so barrier is straight up buffed, I believe. Considering everything, a barrier is supposed to be your favorite summoner spell now for ADC and mid laners, probably. Because cooldown is still fairly low on barrier. Heal range 860 and 826 to champion edge to 900. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Let me get some water. Alright, I'm here. Predator has been removed. That's a fair point. The rune was dogshit. That makes sense. Been a while since it was any popular. Ingenious Hunter has... no way. Ingenious Hunter was actually good. I actually believe it wasn't... it didn't have low engagement rate. I think it was fairly popular on high ranks. It wasn't any popular on low ranks, that's for sure, but on high ranks where people understand how to utilize it, it was more popular. Hope. What do we have with Hope? Attack speed is reduced for range champions. For melee champions, it's the same. Makes sense. Actually makes sense. Sudden impact. A sub-goal of these rune changes was to remove lethality and magic penetration from the rune system. This should keep the rune in a fairly similar place in both input and output power level, while keeping its scaling more linear with the time. Dealing damage to an enemy champion within 4 seconds, blah blah blah. Damage in basic attacks and ability damage deal 20 to 80 based on level bonus true damage to an enemy champion within 4 seconds of using dash or blink or exiting from stealth. I'm not sure if that's a good change. To be honest, I'm not sure if that's a good change. I feel like Riot might have lots of work before season 15. Especially, probably they will need to bring a new rune tree. That's probably something they need to work with already. Relentless Hunter, what do we have? 5 plus 8 per stack, 0 plus 8 per stack has been overperforming, so we want to try to adjust its baseline value to be a bit more in line with what we're expecting. Yeah, but you straight up remove 25 movement speed. Wait, no, not 25. You just remove 5. Yeah, you just remove 5. 5 is whatever. That's whatever. Little tempo, rest in peace. That's something that we knew that is going to happen. That sucks. That sucks. I personally don't like the change, but it is what it is. Or heal is removed as well. We've been unhappy with this rune when it's strong, but it's heavy. But it has a very low peak rate when it's not overtuned, so we're replacing. That's true. That's true. I didn't expect that to be to happen that soon, honestly, but that's reasonable. What do we have with PTA? Hitting an enemy champion with 3 consecutive basic attacks deal 40 to 180 based on level bonus adaptive damage, and amplifies your damage dealt by 8% until you leave the combat. Isn't it a nerf? Because earlier it was giving the damage from all sources, now amplifies your damage dealt. Like, what's the point? So before that, if you apply press the attack, everyone was doing more damage to that specific target. Now, only you. And kinda weird. Absorb life. People already say that this rune is kinda broken. Killing a target restores 2 to 17 health. This new rune is aimed to give Precision Tree users a way to heal back up between skirmishes. But it's like, it's not like Triumph. It's basically sustain rune for laning phase. And I don't really like that this rune doesn't have any balance for melee and for ranged users. I feel like for ranged users it should be given less. Legend Tenacity been removed. That was expectable. That's something I personally expected. Legend Haste. Gain 1.5 per legend stack bonus ability haste up to 15 maximum stacks. So if you have 15, what do we have then? Like 20, 22, 21 ability haste. I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad. That sounds quite solid. Cut down. Deal 8% increased damage except true damage to champions above 60% maximum health. Yeah, but that's completely different rune. It was dealing 5 to 15 increased damage to champions based on how much more maximum health they have than you. Now it deals 8% increased damage except true damage to champions above 60% maximum health. So it doesn't matter how much damage they have comparing with you, but if they have more than 60%, you do more damage. As simple as that. Interesting. Fleet footwork. Luckily this rune is getting nerfed, but for some reason Riot give extra movement speed duration. Not sure what's the intention of it. Like, there was no need giving extra movement speed duration, even the slightest. Like, you don't want to buff this rune, it was strong enough already. Font of Life. This is what secretly this is one of my favorite runes. I hope they don't kill it. Font of Life input and output pattern was something we were unsatisfied with. Due to the complexity of the rune and overall unsatisfying output, it had low engagement rate and was a good target to update and clean up. Alright, what do they do now? Slowing or mobilizing an enemy champion heals you and the nearby ally with the least health for 10 to 50, 70% for ranged users. Yeah, I mean, that's very clear now. 20 seconds cooldown, no. I mean, that's not bad, that's kinda strong. Quite ironic that normally you would love to pick this rune for range champion, and normally range champions on bot lane are enchanters, and enchanters don't want to go result 3 for the most part. Inspiration rune 3. Futures market has been removed. Rest in peace. Had a low pick rate and players in general didn't want to go into depth. That's bullshit. That's actually bullshit. I've seen on high ranks people permanently were picking futures market and freaking went to have their depths whenever they could, even when that's not exactly what they needed to do. Cashback. Get 6% gold back on purchase of a legendary item. 6%. So like 200, around 200 for each expensive item. Nah, like 100, more like 150. I mean, not bad, still not bad. At the end of the game, it will total up to like 1k gold. So not bad at all. Yeah, it sounds like a very strong one. I'm pretty sure this will be very popular, especially in pro play. Dematerializer. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. This rune wasn't any popular recently, and I'm pretty sure we all could have expected that this rune will be removed. Jack of all trades. For each unique stat on items you have purchased, get a stacking bonus. Get 1 ability haste per stack. At 5 stacks, get 10 adaptive force, and at 10 stacks, get 25 adaptive. Wait, what? Wait, what? A new rune that rewards those who plan ahead and cook up crazy builds. There's some really powerful things you can do with this rune, but you have to be creative to unlock its potential. For each unique stat on items you have purchased, get a stacking bonus. Yeah, I mean, it sounds powerful. Indeed, it sounds very powerful, but you need to get 10 unique stats. Yikes. I mean, I can see it being a thing on some hybrid champions like Kale, maybe? Yeah, like Kale. But for the majority of champions, I'm not sure if it can be any useful. But in fact, a very interesting rune, that's for sure. Time Warp Tonic no longer reduces the healing of potions. Upfront healing 30 to 40%. Remove the bonus movement speed from for the duration of potions. Then what's the point of this fucking rune? Remove it from the game. If it doesn't give movement speed, what's the point of it? This is useless. This is just a dead rune, I believe. First strike. Damage AMP 7 to 8%. Man, you just nerfed it not too long ago. What? And gold gained. Flat gold is increased. It's actually a very strong buff for early game. When you basically do no damage, but you love to poke your enemies a lot. It's a very strong buff for early game. That's for sure. Is it all? Oh well, yeah, that's all. Honestly, I expected a little more, but you know, still considering how many new items we've gotten in the game, there's a huge road to learn all the stuff, all the new runes, all the items. Like for ADC, that's pretty much a new game because you have so many new options what to build, and that's cool. That's cool. That will definitely bring some fresh air into the game. So yeah. But yeah, guys, thank you for sticking with me, for listening to this patch note. Hope new season will be even better for you than the previous one. And see you next patch in 14.11. Bye.